Hey guys, Dylan here from Iceberg TV. Today, I've got a full bag of MVP, Axiom, and Streamline. I've got the new Tour of Terror stuff. I've got some out of production and discontinued molds that I'm excited to teach you guys a little bit about. And yeah, it's just a full array of different plastics. And I'm out here at Hornet's Nest, so we're playing a pro level course. I want to see if I can throw some pro level shots with an MVP only bag. I kind of just want to get the vibe of, am I missing some of the staples that I'm used to throwing? Or maybe some of these MVP discs could potentially replace some of the discs in my main bag. MVP has slowly been creeping into my bag over the last year or so. With how popular they are, obviously you become curious, you try things out. And a lot of times I've been quite surprised with how good MVP Axiom and Streamline discs have been, especially things like the Streamline Ascend, something I'd never heard of until I reviewed one, and that went straight into the bag. So I'm hoping a few of these other discs kind of give me that same shock value that the Ascend did. But make sure you like the video if you like MVP focused content. I'll continue to make more if you guys hit the like button. And make sure you leave a comment. Let me know your favorite MVP disc down below. Anyway, I think the island is in here on hole 2, so let's get after it. The Plasma Servo is the disc I've had in my collection for a while now. It's a 6.55 -1.2. I haven't thrown it a ton of times, but I think for this like 300-ish foot type shot, I think this is a disc that I'm really going to like. I'm really curious how stable it is in this plasma plastic, but I feel like the Servo is kind of one of the slept on MVP molds, mostly due to the popularity of the Crave. Let's see if we can't put this thing on the island here. Swing. I think that's the back right of the circle's edge. Let's see if we can knock down the putt with the Electron Pixel. And if you plan on buying any discs, MVP, Axiom, Streamline, or anything else, make sure to use my storefront. The link to that is in the description below. You won't save any money on MVP products because nobody's code works on those anywhere, but I still get credit for sending you guys over there. So make sure you use my link in the description below over at Disc Golf Deals USA. And even if you're buying stuff and you're not going to get the discount, I'd really appreciate if you guys use my link. So anyway, let's go knock down a putt. All right, down 1 through 1. Getting the island hole is pretty exciting. The Servo is a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. On hole 3, pretty tough par 4. I really feel like the sucker line is the forehand line. It's such a tough shot to hit that late of a gap down the middle. If you fade early right, it becomes par at best, in my opinion. So we're going to take the James Conrad Mothman, just try and pump one nice and straight, try and play for the birdie. So we swung left at the end, so we got a nice little fade at the end. That should leave us with a huge forehand in for a possible birdie look, but that's definitely par at worst. And I've been working really hard to really just try and bring you guys value with good, honest disc reviews, form tips and tricks that I'm working on that I feel like have been really helping my game. I want to make sure you guys are still liking the video. I've really toned down on clickbait style content, and I've really just tried to focus on bringing as much value as possible. So if there's any other things that you guys want to see on the channel, let me know in the comments below. But if I could ask, please like the video. It really helps me out a lot. And it literally just takes you 1 second to do. So if you could like the video, I'll continue to do my best to bring you guys the most value that I can do my best to bring you. All right, so the Glow Detour landed a little bit too far left here. Might be able to still put it in circle 2. We'll give the Fission Photon a forehand and see if we can't swing one up there for a possible birdie look. That gets through. It's so good. Oh, that is most certainly in circle 1. Love the Photon. And if I had to pick one thing that sets MVP discs apart, it's their baseline and it's their ability to consistently make lightweight discs that don't fly super flippy or understable. Because there's more weight in the rim, the discs can handle being an overall lighter weight and still maintaining their stability, just like you saw from that Fission Photon there. Most other baseline distance drivers are absolute trash, but in MVP's consideration, honestly, their baseline lightweight drivers are some of the best drivers that they make as a company altogether. What's funny is I considered throwing the Tour of Terror Wave, but that Photon got a nice little pop-up on that standstill forehand line. This Wave is way more stable than that Fission Photon, and I'm sure you guys will get to see me throw this a few times today. I do really like this Wave, but oh man, when it comes to any other, I mean, this is the most overstable wave ever made, in my opinion. So if you get one, let me know. Is yours as beefy as this one, or are you getting a little bit more flip out of it? All right, we avoided the sucker play off the tee. We threw a nice second. We made a nice putt with the Pixel. This is not a hole I birdie very often. I'm gonna have to blame that one on the Photon because that was an unbelievable second shot. And I'll also show you guys how this wave flies here. So we'll throw it. We've got another tough par 4 here. I don't think I'm physically capable of overturning this disc. So what we're gonna do is just absolute smash on this one, nice and flat. Show you guys how beefy the new waves are. Like, that's full power. I got a little baby flip up, but I'm getting a huge fade at the end. And I believe that faded up to an excellent position. There's a group of trees on the left that you do want to avoid, but I think I went far enough to get around them. So on this hole, I would very commonly land just short of the short tee, or if I throw a stable disc like I just did there, wind up like somewhere behind these guys. But today, I do believe because of the new grip that I started using, I'm sure a lot of you guys saw that video, I was able to get another, whatever, 15 to 20 feet. And that takes me from being stuck behind here to a wide open spot where I have a nice chip forehand into the green. So I don't have a true like overstable 9-speed, but I do have this pre-flight number patent pending Tesla. This, I believe, is the same run Simon is throwing. This thing is so just absurdly, stupidly overstable. This is going to be like my Firebird type disc for the rest of the round. This thing is so stable, I don't think it's possible for me to get this thing to turn. Like, it's ridiculously beefy. As long as that sits, that's incredible. Really trusted the stability on the flex line there. Hopefully it's in the circle, but there is a small chance that it wound up rolling out of bounds into the parking lot. All right, I do think we caught a little bit of a roll here. The Tesla is, I probably hit this little edge of the out of bounds here and then rolled back in. We are, in fact, inside the circle for our third birdie look of the day on 3 holes, which is pretty exciting. I've never been 3 down through 3 holes at Hornet's Nest ever in my lifetime. It's a hot start. Maybe these MVP discs are actually working out after all. Got another great par 4 here, hole 5, 514 feet. I'm gonna do this Fission Photon here. I'm gonna force the issue on some anhyzer. There used to be a big tree on the right side of the fairway here, but now that's gone. So I'm gonna try out the big turnover line with the old Fission Photon. It's got enough distance. We just don't want to be too left. That was not enough turn, but it should be in play and we should have some sort of forehand into the green. All right, we're a little bit too tight to this tree for the forehand line, so I'm going to try and toss the discontinued Neutron Shock. It's an overstable 8-speed into that hillside there. I'm going to give it a nice backhand here. As long as we hit the gap with good power, I do trust this disc to fade at the end. Oh, we caught that little bit of cabbage. That is likely going to be our first part of the day. All right, we also have the Tour of Terror Fission Pyro, which I'm looking forward to throwing some up shots with today. So let's see if we can get the up and down here with this thing. Yeah, it's going to be parked for a tap and par. I know I said I didn't love the Pyro when I did my initial breakdown of the Tour of Terror discs, but I feel like discs like the Pyro only show their value once you actually use them out on the course. So I'm going to continue to throw that disc with an open mind and really see what kind of vibes I'm getting when it comes to these types of upshots. And so far, that felt pretty nice out of the hand. Landed it pretty close to the basket as well. Hole 6, I believe, plays around 340, 350. This thing is absolutely board flat. It is a patent pending Neutron Tesla. I don't know if I can actually throw a Tesla this far, but there's really only one way to find out. So let's see if we can put this thing over there. And that's the line. Does it have the length? I think it does. This hole does now have an elevated basket. So if you're not super close, it can be quite a scary putt. And if you're new to MVP, Axiom, and Streamline, if you're curious what I mean by pre-flight number or patent pending, it basically just means that these are some of the older MVP and Axiom discs. Then a lot of them actually used a different manufacturing process than they do now. On the bottom of the disc, there are little dimples, and you can see different dimples based on which manufacturing style they used, the old versus the new. And then the really old MVP discs actually had Maple Valley plastics underneath the bottom of the disc. So you can use some of these hints to age the MVP and Axiom discs that you own. I love going through used bins, so anytime I see a patent pending, it says patent pending around the center of the bottom of the disc, I pretty much just always snag it, and then I definitely always snag it if it's a discontinued or out of production mold. I don't think historically I'd be able to reach this with a Tesla, but I guess my new power grip is paying off. Let's see if we can't get another bird here. Oh, a little headwind lifted it. That's an unfortunate par after a great drive. This thing went a little further than I expected it to. So I'm going to show you a couple different discs with different injection points. So this is a Tangent, and it's an out of production old plasma run, and it has these big injection points here, which is also a patent pending run. And then we've got the old Tesla here, which has much smaller injection points, but also patent pending. I do believe that Tangent is much older than this Tesla, but they're both old manufacturing style. And then I've got the really old patent pending Tesla, which has no discernible that I could see injection points at all, which I know very little about this disc, but it seems a bit more conventional than some of the newer runs. You don't have those same injection points, at least as far as I can tell. Hole 7, another great par 4 here. Hornet's Nest is absolutely just chock full of epic par 4s. Tour of Terror, Glow Wave. I know I can trust this thing when thrown really hard, so let's give it a nice powerful flick here. I mean, most stable wave of all time, catching that last little bit of cabbage, but we did kick, fortunately, to the dead center of the fairway. I think birdie might be out of play from there, but maybe we can make some magic happen. And I do think I'm going to take my medicine here and show you guys one of these pop top molds that are from a particular era. This is a Axiom Inspire that is super overstable, super pop toppy, also out of production. But what I found is this thing is ridiculously overstable. I know if I just throw it through that gap, it's going to fade to the left and get us a nice look at that par. Super dumpy, super stable, and it's going to thus put us in a great spot to just pitch the Eagle Pyro up for par. And I don't think this Inspire is supposed to be beefy. I think the flight numbers are just kind of a wash. But we executed the shot perfectly, and we have an opportunity to save the par here. Let's see if Eagle can get us there. That should be like optimal. I think that's right under the basket. Maybe there is something to that Pyro after all. I kind of slept on it in the initial review, but it's actually flying really nice for me on those flicks. Ooh, a little low, but we snuck it in. Almost blew that par, almost gave it away. This is the second bonus hole at Hornet's Nest. It's only 161 feet. I can pretty much throw any disc in the bag. But I do want to take a quick chance to show you guys the Vector. I actually think this is the closest thing that MVP has ever made to an in of a rock. I think the flight and the feel is quite similar. So if you are a rock enjoyer, you want something nice and stable that feels like a rock, sort of a deep mid-range feel. The Vector, again, it's another kind of discontinued guy that I got from a used bin. One of the older manufacturing styles. It doesn't really even have any noticeable or discernible little injection points like the other ones do. So I think this thing's pretty old, but I also don't think a lot of people throw them. So if you do want one, I think they are probably relatively easy to find if you looked around online. That's going to be right up there for a nice sketchy uphill putt at the bird. And I love doing these singular brand only videos because it allows me to break out some of the gems that I've been collecting over the years and finally, you know, get out and just really throw everything I have for one brand. And I could just throw a bunch of like popular stock stuff in the bag, but I think it's fun It's probably more fun for me. And I do enjoy, again, trying to bring a little more value to the table, give you guys a little bit of education. Because I know there's probably not a lot of videos on some of the discs I'm throwing today. So hopefully when you watch my videos, ideally you at least learn a thing or two. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm realistically, if the basket was level, I'd be like 6 feet away. But this kind of putt is so scary. It's another birdie. This can turn into a 5 or a 6 real quick if you go up and over a handful of times. One of my favorite holes on the course, hole 8. We're gonna break out another disc I haven't showed you guys today. I know it looks an awful lot like that Tesla that I was throwing earlier, but we just have its twin. But instead of a Tesla, we have an Inertia, which is a lot straighter. Going straight on this tee is an absolute premium if you want to get the birdie. Let's see how inertia-y this Inertia is. Can it go straight? Perfect. That is such a good disc. Absolutely dead straight. That is an optimal position to try and toss one up there for the bird. And I think I've shown you all of the patent pending out of production stuff I have in the bag, except for one disc, which I will throw off the tee on the next basket. So I'm excited to show you guys my one last discontinued out of production mold that we have in the bag today. So make sure you hang out to the end of the video so you can see the one last secret disc I'm hiding in this bag. I likely went a little bit too far to get the birdie. We're going to try out the Streamline Ascend here and just see if we can get it to somehow turn through this gap. I can't believe the Inertia went this far, to be totally honest with you. That might have done it. Oh, no way. That might have been the greatest shot of my life. Ascend is so money. There's absolutely no way that I just did that from right there. Oh, I just kicked the tripod. That is an unbelievable shot. This thing is officially a cheat code. After that drive, I thought the birdie was impossible. We were able to figure out a way to make it happen. Hole 9, our last hole of the day. I've got the PFN Axis here today, which I feel like is the Hex's grandfather. This thing is very similar to the Hex. It's just a tick more stable, but it does have that very interesting lack of injection points. So they've changed their process significantly from how this was made. And a lot of those molds, when they switched to the new manufacturing, just didn't transfer over. And the Axis is one of them. So this is the Hex before the Hex ever existed. 312 feet. Let's see how this thing flies. I haven't thrown this thing in ages. Come on, if that fades. No, it's a Hex. It's just a fake Hex. Oh man, that thing went so dead straight. All right, we are just outside circle 1 here. Come on, Pixel. Little pulled, unfortunate. All right, we finished 5 under par. That is honestly a heck of a pace out here at Hornets Nest Disc Golf Course. One of the toughest courses on the whole East Coast. I know I didn't play all the gold tees. I played some of the easier tees. But honestly, regardless from any tee, that is a hot pace. And I do think these MVP discs are flying really well for me. They're flying better for me than they ever have before. Because if you haven't seen, I did switch my grip recently. And I did a video tutorial on how I'm actually gripping the disc now. I used to grip the disc, how Overthrow explains to, basically like this, so that my hand is sort of sideways in the disc. Now I'm just straight up gripping the disc like that. Like I'm just putting it right here and just grabbing from here. It feels horrible, but I'm getting such a good and powerful release on the disc. I think I'm just getting more spin and more power. Discs are flying farther, they're flying straighter. And I think I'm getting a lot more wrist action on the disc as well when it releases. So everything seems to be flying really well. And I really impressed myself today with what we were able to do with these MVP and Axiom discs. So yeah, if you want to see part 2 of this video, I'll come out here within the next couple of days and finish the round and continue on the same score. But again, please like the video. I try to bring you guys entertainment and value. I try to teach you guys things. And there's a lot of you guys that watch the videos consistently that don't hit the like button. So please hit the like button. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay humble, live with gratitude. I'll see you guys in the next video, and take care.